Hey, welcome to the Optimized Law Firm podcast, where we talk about how to run a more profitable and enjoyable law firm. I am Patrick Carver. I'm the owner of Constellation Marketing. We help hungry law firm owners transcend seven figures and gain total ROI clarity with their marketing. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the importance of online reviews and how you can get them consistently. Promise nothing but illustrious guest. So today we're pleased to be joined by the man himself, Jameel Manji, one of the premier immigration lawyers in Georgia. Jameel is a very successful practice in Atlanta, and what's impressed me the most is his ability to consistently get reviews. It's benefited him substantially as he's grown his practice over the years and now acquiring clients from all over the world. So thank you for joining us and welcome to the official podcast.
Thank you. Happy to be here. I appreciate the invite.
Excellent. So you are broadcasting live from your new office, which is fantastic.
This is our new office in Tucker. It's a little bit different than what I'm used to, because I'm used to the very traditional big office building with what you'd expect. This one's a standalone, old house that converted into a nice office with a yard. And so I'm here in Tucker and still need to do a little more decorating, as you can tell by the walls on the back. But yeah, happy to be here, man. It's got a good vibe here. So hopefully you can come do it in person at our Tucker office soon.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about your practice.
Sure. So again, my name is Jameel Manji. I am the managing attorney at Manji Law. So we are located in Metro Atlanta. We have 3 offices, one in downtown Decatur, the Tucker/Lilburn office that I'm at right now, and then we have one in Lawrenceville. But we're nationwide practice. Immigration is lucky that, it's federal law. So we have clients all over the country, all over the world. But as far as in person, we're here in Atlanta. So we specialize in immigration, all things immigrants. So not only immigration, we also do what's called crimmigration, which is a special area of criminal law that really helps out individuals that are not U.S. citizens.
Awesome. And you actually have a background in tax law, but ultimately made the switch to immigration. Why'd you do that?
For a number of reasons. One, and most importantly, my heart wasn't in tax law. I loved tax law at first. I specialized in international taxation, big, nerdy, just think of these huge, big companies that you think of the biggest in the world, and they have entities all over the world, and we're just trying to move things around to save them taxes. It was lots of fun and interesting at first, but honestly, I missed the human connection, the one-on-one. So immigration has always been something I'm passionate about. I've always been volunteering. I've always been helping out with refugees. My parents are refugees. I immigrated here from Canada. So my heart's always been there. So I just kind of took the leap and completely changed practice areas. Best decision I've ever made. I love immigration, and I don't feel like I'm working. I feel like I'm just going to my daily job is fun. It's exciting, and I'm really happy in this area.
That's awesome. And when you started, though, I mean, you came from a bigger firm and put up your own shingle. Like, what were some of the challenges you faced when you were just starting out the practice?
Yeah. So the biggest issue was just starting from a zero sum. So, a lot of my colleagues, they worked at other firms. They had clients that would follow them, wherever they went. They had an existing set of clientele. My clients were like, Delta and Home Depot and these, huge companies that I'm not even meeting. It's, they built relationships with the biggest accounting firms and stuff. So, it was really just getting that ball rolling, getting that first few clients, making them happy, and then, just kind of snowballing from there. But those first few months were, we had to hustle. We had to just get our name out there.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously you've grown, multiple offices, I think, and we'll talk about this, coming up, just the role reviews have played and how you built a really great reputation. But what's the practice look like now, just in terms of how much it's grown since you started?
Oh man, so it's growing exponentially. We're at the phase now where we have basically 2.5 attorneys. We're adding in a third full-time attorney. We have we have 4 full-time paralegals, 2 legal assistants, and we're just constantly growing. So it's kind of exactly how we kind of hoped, but it's just coming really fast. So like you make one client happy, they send you 2 clients. You make those clients happy, those 2 clients each send you 2. So it's just, we're getting the repeat clientele, we're getting the clients that are sending it, and then we're getting a lot of new clients through online, through reviews and SEO and your more marketing type efforts.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's a good segue to the role reviews I think have played in your growth. And, and I wanted to talk with you specifically because I think you've had maybe the most success I've seen of all of our clients, and just in terms of consistently getting reviews, and just, hoping you could kind of share a little bit about the role you feel like reviews have played in the growth of your practice.
Yeah, absolutely. So just kind of stepping back, the reason I wanted to specialize in my firm is customer service. All right. I try to put myself in the position of how did I want my parents treated? How did I want to be treated? So we really focus on customer service. A lot of my clients came in and they had no idea what was going on with their cases. Attorneys just kind of speak above their level. Sometimes they would just throw legal terms and it's like, this is what I need, not explain to them what's going on. So, before even the review part, we focus it on customer service, and it shows in the reviews. So I'm a bit of a dinosaur. I don't pay attention. I know you make fun of me all the time about how clueless I am about technology and stuff. I didn't even know how important reviews were until I started speaking to clients and like, how did you find us? Oh, Google. Oh, and then they automatically are like, oh, you have the best reviews. And so I was like, oh, maybe this is something I should pay more attention to. So especially for a business like mine, where you're starting from a zero sum, you get those handful of clients, you treat them great, and you ask them for the reviews, and we'll talk about that, I'm sure. Those reviews have to be genuine. They have to be real reviews about their experience, because clients can read that, or potential clients will read that, and they'll know that it's there. And it's how do you separate yourself from other attorneys? And for us, I think we have a unique brand, have a unique practice in the app, and having those genuine reviews where people are happy and it shows in their language and they trust you, it's been amazing for business.
Yeah, and and I think we're obviously on the younger side currently, but maybe not for long. But I'm just thinking, contrasting it to like my dad's practice. He's been at it for over 40 years, and there was no such thing as reviews, right? Or Google reviews on it. And so I'm just curious what you think, like how important you think they are today compared to maybe in the past, where you didn't really have to do it, and it was all kind of like word of mouth. And kind of the importance in today's marketplace, I guess
it's
say.
Huge. It's huge. I mean, I have clients coming in telling me about how they read every single review on there, and I'm like, really? Like, and think about how high the stakes are. And I learned a lot from my sister, actually, because I have a bad habit of shopping on Amazon. I just go in there, I just see whatever I like, I click and I buy it. I don't even read the reviews, but I'll just think, okay, Amazon's choice. Somebody did the vetting for me. My sister used to pick Christmas gifts for her kid and just like literally read every single review. Like, I mean, not everyone, but she would be like, well, one review said this and one review said that. And blah, blah. I'm like, you spent like an hour reading reviews for like, one toy. So it made me realize, think about how high the stakes are for legal practice in general. For me, my clients, I'm working on getting their status. I'm working about getting their clients out of deportation. So yeah, the stakes are very high for them, and they will read these reviews. They'll be able to, they can sniff out the BS ones, these clients, some of these firms have 200 reviews in 1 weekend and no words. That's clearly BS. But they will
A little
read
shady.
them and be like, they will read them and be like, okay, this is a genuine attorney that cares about it, and the
Hmm.
stakes are high. So it's so important to have good reviews, and also, not only for immigration, I'm talking about because that's what we do. Our clients are becoming our generally our clients are not the most sophisticated at times. Some of them are, some of them are not. But when it comes to the clients that look at reviews, that's where we thrive. The ones that look at everything. They will check out the menu and reviews before they go to a restaurant.
Hmm.
And also for us, a lot of it is their children. So say mom and dad are Spanish speaking, for example, or not the most fluent with when it comes to technology. It's their kids that are looking up attorneys. They're looking
Hmm.
online. They're finding stuff.
Right.
And these kids are not happy with they're not happy with the traditional way where it's just word of mouth, where their parents are like, oh, my friend got a work permit at this attorney. Was it good? I don't know, but they got a work permit. They want more. They want customer service. They want to make sure that their parents are taken care of. So yeah, reviews are everything these days, and I can't emphasize that how important it is, because it also does a lot of the pre-sales for you.
Hmm.
And I don't like to think about what we do as a sale, but I mean, at the end of the day, you are presenting yourself, your knowledge, your expertise, everything. Um, but when someone's gone through your reviews and they've vetted you compared to other attorneys and you do a great job, I mean, you've already broken down some of those barriers of, where they're not trusting. They already kind of have a sense of, hey, this person's not just in it for the money. They're here to help. So it really helps. It really helps with building those reviews, so that way you build that trust before the person even comes in for a consult.
Right. Yeah. And I think you made a great point just regarding how much of our behavior, whether we realize it or not, is dictated by reviews. And just thinking about, today's Friday, going to go out to eat later tonight, probably going to use a review. Right.
Yeah,
And
I'm gonna check out that menu.
you're going to check it out. You're going to check out what people are saying and see if it's kind of, the experience or, what you're after. And I think it's, delusional not to think that same experience is happening with such a high stakes, more valuable encounter like you would have with an attorney. And I think you also made a couple of really good points just about what benefits that you've experienced from having this healthy collection of genuine reviews. It sounds like the sales process is easier. I mean, in reality, it is a sales process, even though
Yeah.
there's other parts, and you know, and then you also have a lot of that. I think you're getting other business just based on that. Are there any other benefits that you feel like you've experienced from having a big collection of reviews and really making it a big part of your practice operations?
Well, I think I've covered most of it. But it really is about building that trust,
Hmm.
and letting clients know that you have done this before. So part of the process that we have is, generally speaking, a lot of immigrants are not the most trusting.
Hmm.
They've come here from some tough countries. People are always taking advantage of immigrants. It's nothing new. So it's building that trust that we have to explain to the clients, like, follow the process. We have these established processes in place, and you just gotta just go with it. Sometimes clients want to control so much of it, and we're like, we've done this a lot of times, and I think those reviews help validate that, where
Hmm.
these clients have followed our process. They have trusted us with something so important, and they've seen the success from it. So it really helps with that trust again. It's a two-way street where you got to earn the trust, but you also, it's nice to see that other clients have put it in there. They're happy, they're content. So when I was first starting out and I didn't have as many reviews, clients wanted to check in every day. Hey, is everything okay? I haven't heard from immigration for 2 days. Yes, it's the process.
Yeah.
This is normal. This is So it really helps validate you. It's
Interesting.
it's almost like dating.
Yeah.
If you're going out and you want to ask for someone's number and this and that, if you have common friends or at least someone vouch for you that, hey, this is a decent human being, he's a nice guy, he's not a creep or whatever, like, it really does help you, break that ice, or at least just get in the door with like, okay, let's see if this works out. So I think those reviews are kind of that way, in the sense of like, your friends validating you and saying good things about you. This is just members of the community that, that went out of their way to give you a review. And
It's like
they care.
Tinder versus Hinge in the dating world.
Exactly. It's like, and Google is everything, man. Google is, I again, I'm old school, so I thought Yelp is what I used to look at for restaurants.
Hmm.
Everyone's on Google, man. Even iPhone users, they don't use Apple Maps as much. They use
Yeah.
Google Maps. So yeah, it's really good for validating and building that trust before they even become a client.
Yeah, it's a great point, and one I hadn't ever thought of, actually, that it can actually save you time, in the process of, I mean, we're in different businesses, but I think we both share not a pain point, but a challenge is just communication. It takes time, and us communicating SEO and complicated concepts, just like you for your clients. And the more you can kind of alleviate that or bypass that with trust, just makes the job work so much easier, or just more smooth. um,
Yeah.
for attorneys, I think one of the problems I see is that maybe they don't know really how to ask or what kind of their positioning should be, when asking for reviews. And I think, I won't belabor it, but obviously, they're so important for all of these reasons we've talked about. But maybe you could share just a little bit about your process for acquiring reviews, because you've been successful at it, and and maybe how it's evolved over time, from the beginning.
Yeah. So two things. One, it's all about timing.
Mm,
Okay. You know, Clients are busy. All right. It's not that they're not grateful and appreciative of all you do, but they're very busy. So you got to have that right timing where they're happy and your engagement is not completely over.
and
Okay.
available.
And available. Right. So for me, I find, right when we get that good news that we got an approval is the best timing to
Hmm.
contact them. It's also comes hand in hand with customer service. Hey, we got your approval for your green card. Let's talk about it directly. Let's talk about answering some of your questions. Let's congratulate you, and and then ask them, like, hey, is there things we could have done better?
Hmm.
Were you happy? And then I'm blatantly honest, and I'm like, hey, so I get a lot of clients through Google. And at first I really had no idea, but I get a lot of clients through Google, and the clients are like, yeah, that's how I found you. That's half the time. They're like, yeah, that's how I differentiate you, because your reviews were good. Be like, would you mind giving us an honest review? Would you mind just saying, not just giving us whatever stars you think we've earned, also just saying a few things. So just about your personal experience. Sometimes they'll throw shout outs to the paralegal that they like. Sometimes they'll just talk about the process. Sometimes they don't feel comfortable with that. They'll just put click on the star. So whatever, we just ask them, hey, can you please share your experience? It means a lot to us and it helps others to find us.
Yeah.
And then, so that's my timing is right when the approval, but they haven't actually got their green card, because there's also, or citizenship or deportation or criminal, whatever it is.
Hmm.
Um, because once they've got that, it's not that they don't appreciate what you've done. They've moved on to the next thing, and then it forgets their mind. So it's when it's fresh on their mind, that's when people will do it, and they're still waiting for like certain documents from the government, so they're still actively engaged. Now, the second thing is it goes back to customer service. You know, um, I shouldn't speak ill of other attorneys, but sometimes I find other attorneys believe that they're owed stuff from their clients.
Mm,
Hey, we got this result for you. We deserve a review from you. No,
mm,
you don't. You don't deserve anything. Okay, they hired you for a result. You got that result. That was the basis of the relationship.
right.
So I like to thank my clients, and I genuinely mean it. there are a lot of immigration attorneys out there. A lot of, there's in my opinion, a handful of good ones, and there's quite a few that are not. And I want to
Mm,
thank them and say, hey, I appreciate you choosing us. All right. They gave us business. They chose us. Thank you for putting the trust in us to make sure that we handle something so important. Um, and I think that goes a long way. You got to show appreciation to them and thank them and let them know that, hey, we're still here if you need help. We're still here if you have questions. It's not like leave us a review and we're done. Bye. It's thank you so much. And if you wouldn't mind, it would mean a lot to us if you could leave us a review and say a few things. So thank them, and then most importantly, timing, and sending them that review and those links. Make it simple for them. Don't just
yeah.
say, hey, can you give us a review? Send them a link directly to Google, because that's what you want. You want that Google review. Um, and there's also softwares and stuff out there that will remind them and take the thinking out of it. So if that works for some people, go for it. But make sure that it's all personalized, and it usually leads to the majority of my clients, or at least a certain percentage of them, leaving a review for you. And we've been lucky. Most of them have been good.
How would you, or what would you say to attorneys who may be reluctant to ask for reviews? They're maybe worried about doing it, or it's just kind of not in their, I think you're, you know, outspoken, and it's maybe not as difficult for you to make that ask. But I think some people are kind of, worried or shy when it comes to that. What do you say to them, or how would they maybe get out of that shell?
So yeah, I mean, it gets easier over time, right? You just gotta do it. Don't be shy. Have some confidence in yourself. If you are providing a service for your client and you're doing a great job, then you should have that confidence that you want to be able to help more people.
Hmm.
All right. So it's not necessarily there to brag. It's not there to sit there and be like, oh, look at me. I've got 1,000 reviews on Google. I'm the man. No, it's I want to be able to help more people in the industry that I help. I would like for my clients to find us, and this will help them.
Hmm.
So this is, if anything, you're helping more, and this opens up more doors for you to be able to help more. So it's awkward. It is awkward, and then you kind of just get used to it, and just ask them, and just be like, "Would you mind doing that? We'd appreciate it." I mean, that's it. Just leave it there. Don't be pushy. Don't tell them what to write. Don't tell them any of the stuff, because then it's all BS, and again, it's not genuine. But just say, hey, we'd really appreciate it, um, and it helps us out tremendously. And clients are, if you do a good job, they want to help you out. They want to do something nice for you, and instead of
Yeah.
bringing you baked cookies, if they can do it in 15 seconds on their computer, it's not a huge ask. Um, and you're actually sending them the link after you speak to them, so that
Right.
way they can just literally click on the link and say, best abogado, highly suggested. Like, they don't have to say much, but just ask. All right, you'll be surprised.
Yeah.
People are very appreciative when you do good work.
Yeah, I mean, there's some. I think you had some great takeaways here. I mean, a couple for me. Just number one, don't be afraid to ask, and I think
Yeah.
you're not doing anything fancy, in terms of some elaborate workflow or technology component, but you're asking, and also just making it easy for them by getting them the links, and getting it to them right at that moment that they need to. So
Yeah, people are busy. People are busy. It's not that they're lazy. People are busy. They've got
right.
a million things going on. Make it easier for them. It's like when I tell my family, I'm going to use my sister again. When I don't even look for toys for my nephew anymore. I just tell her to send me what I want, and make it easy for me. Send me the link so I can literally click and add it to my cart. It's the same thing for Google. Send them the link so they can just save them time, make it easy. And it increases your chance of getting that actual review versus, oh, I'll get to it later, and then people forget.
Yeah, and I think the other part of it too is just consistency. One of the problems that I see a lot of attorneys have is just they don't have it in their operational flow. And like I said, beyond even technology, I mean, we have a software we created that helps just add multiple attempts at doing it, because to your point, people are busy, and they, if they don't do it on the first try, that doesn't mean that they're necessarily against it or not willing to do it. But I think we've all been there where, you have the best intention of doing something, but guess what? You got to go pick up the kids. You got to go, you got to run out the door, and, you just forget about it, right? As other stuff comes in. And so getting a couple of, cracks at it can be really beneficial. And that's, I think, where, the technology component can come in and at least alleviate some of that. So, you said it once, and then, but for, one of the biggest things that I recommend is just make sure that it's in your flow, your client flow, so that you have that period, that specific time is like the trigger point where you can then, make sure that happens, right? And whether that's you or someone in your office who's doing it, like, most important thing is that it's just, it's happening, right? How have you dealt with negative reviews in the past? Because one of the things that I think, or I hear from folks, is that, they're really worried about negative reviews. And a lot of the time, honestly, especially with lawyers, and I don't really understand why these happen necessarily, but a lot of lawyers get spammy negative reviews that, they're not actual customers. It's somebody who called in and maybe, the phone line was busy, or, but we also see other ones that, there's no connection to anyone who's actually a customer. And one of the things that I've shared with clients is that, I think there's a misconception that Google is going to, really highlight you or put you on a blacklist if you have one negative review or something like that. And really, as far as I know, my knowledge on it is that Google's really looking for more of the responsiveness from your business, and that if there is a negative review, even if it's not, anything you're responsible for, just the practice of responding to it, and communicating either, hey, we've never served this person, or, or if, there is a situation where it is negative and it's warranted, just dealing with it honestly. But what are your thoughts on that, and kind of how do you factor that into your review process?
So I might not be the best at responding to negative reviews, because the thing is, just deal with it. Don't take it personal. Sometimes it it hurts a little bit. You're just kind of like, really? Like, I did what I needed to for you. And, and one of my business practices, I'm brutally honest. I'm not here to waste anyone's money. And I'm not here to tell you what you came to hear. I'm here to tell you my honest opinion and my advice. And sometimes people just don't want to hear that. So at the end of the day, you're not going to make everyone happy. So I remember my first bad review, and it wasn't even that bad. It was just like, it was just kind of like a mediocre review where the guy just wasn't happy with what I told him. I told him worst case scenario. He asked, that wasn't the price that I quoted him. And I took it personal. So I was like, I did not quote you that price. I told you worst case scenario. And I just didn't give him what he wanted to hear. And in retrospect, I probably should have been a little bit more or less personal with my response, because I was, I went in there and detailed out a long response, and I shouldn't have. But I've learned since then. I've gotten, maybe 2 other bad reviews. One was from somebody I've never heard of. There's no record whatsoever. So I think, I kind of took that as a badge of honor. Like, we've got random person from Bangladesh that I've never heard of. No one even contacted us, and just left a 1-star review with nothing else said. I mean, I kind of took it as a badge of honor. Like, all right, cool. We're drawing attention in Bangladesh to somebody that clearly might not have a strong opinion about immigration, or didn't like the wait times, and decided to take it out on us. And then one other one was, I'm just getting personal here, but one other one where the guy came in with all this stuff from Alabama, from another state, for criminal stuff. And I had to look it up, because I'm here in Georgia. I don't know all 50 states criminal stuff off the back of my, like the back of my hand. Like, so I'm looking stuff up, and he apparently was unhappy that I had to look up some penal code language from another state. At the end of the day, you're not going to make everyone happy. And something I've learned over time is a lot of these places that only have perfect reviews, it kind of also smells like BS. You know, I'm dealing with hundreds of clients a week. You're not going to make everyone happy. You're dealing with immigration. You're dealing with different governmental entities. You know, it's hard to make everyone completely happy. So you just got to be objective with it. It happens, and then overall, it all averages out to good if you're doing good work. And
Right.
you know, if you have one disgruntled, person that wasn't even a client, versus 100 clients that were happy, I think your users, your potential clients are kind of realize you can't make everyone happy, and they understand that. So you can't just always worry about reviews and this and that, and just focus on it. And like you said, just address them. Hey, we have no record of you ever contacting the law firm. If you like our help, contact us. Thanks.
Right.
Just keep it simple and not taking it personal. Which again, if I get another bad review, I won't take it as personal. And just dealing with it head on. I mean, I know I'm just sounding like a robot here, but you can't make everyone happy. That's just
Right.
life. And it's going to show in Google that when you do good work.
Yeah. And something you've actually done, which I didn't even know was possible until you were able to get this change from somebody, is, I think I recall you getting a review that was maybe like 4 stars or 3 stars or something. And, and you've actually talked to those people, and I didn't even know you could do that. And, have gotten it, basically it, with the kind of the point being that, even if you get a negative review or something that is maybe less than what, what you feel like the, situation calls for, you can use it as an opportunity to speak with that person, kind of address any questions or concerns or, issues they might have had with the process, and actually improve it, and so I think there's a lesson in there about just being like, responsive and listening to your customers, and it may end up benefiting you, and then, change your business practices for the better moving forward.
Yeah. So yes, you can absolutely. And this is actually the only time I didn't get a 5-star review from a client. And the purpose wasn't to ask him to change the review. I was just want to know how we could do better.
Right.
So I contacted him. He was an older gentleman, and I was like, "Hey, sir, how are you? I noticed that you left us a 4-star review on Google. Just wanted to know what we could do better, or what would have made you happy enough to give you a 5-star." And this one worked out great because he was like, "What are you talking about? You guys did a great job."
Yeah.
And I was just like, "Well, 4 stars is actually kind of low." He's like, "Really? I thought 4 stars is really good."
Yeah.
To me, 4 stars is good. I'm happy. 5 stars just if they did something, like that you weren't expecting. So he thought if you did your job, you did exactly what I expected. 4 stars normal. I was like, oh well, normally we like 5, but we'll keep that in mind. I appreciate it. And he was just like, oh well, if 5 is kind of the norm for someone doing a really good job, then I'm happy to go change it. And I was like, oh, if you want to, that's great. And
Yeah.
he actually did it on the spot, which was nice. But even if they're not going to change it, I find that awkward to ask. It's just a good opportunity to know, hey, how can we do better? Because it all
Right.
comes back to customer service.
Absolutely. And it sounds like it's just a big part of this too, is just, the authenticity of it comes through. And I think that's also, the consistency is big, just authenticity. And then of course, if if you weren't doing good work, that would be reflected as well. So I've, pulled away a lot. I think it all, just is a great reminder about the importance of customer service. In the end, we're all in business, and so have to keep in mind, that we are interacting with people and how to improve that. So really appreciate your time. And, are there any other tips that you have or things that you can think of for For other attorneys who are growing and kind of want to scale to the level that you're at, whether it's review related or not, I'm sure that, folks would
Yeah.
find it helpful.
So I think this is more pertaining to immigration attorneys
Mm,
or people that deal with immigrant communities for this. Get reviews in other languages.
mm,
Right? Like, if you see, one of the things is I ask for clients reviews and and they speak English or Spanish. Sometimes I'll be like, hey, I don't have any reviews in Spanish. If you don't
mm,
mind, can you just say a few things in Spanish? Um, and Google will translate them for everyone to see them in English. But when you see it written in Spanish, I find that helps with my Spanish speaking clientele because
yeah,
they can kind of relate to it and be like, okay, so this person does deal with this community. you
right.
know this person is not just working with, he's Indian American, he only deals with people from India.
Hmm.
He deals with the Latino clientele on a regular basis. Get those reviews in other languages. Also, they read better, they translate better.
Right.
It's them writing in their words instead of you know something in English where they might not be as comfortable expressing it. Um, and just if you're doing good work, you shouldn't be shy to ask for reviews, man. Like it, at the end of the day, this is where a lot of clients come from. You've earned it. Just ask. A lot of these clients are willing to. Just don't be shy. That's my last little input there.
Awesome, man. Well, I really appreciate your time, and thanks so much for taking the time to chat with me.
Absolutely, man. Thank you as well.